Thanks for tuning in for another edition of Dateline 360. I am Omotola Omojola. In the past weeks, Nigerians have had to deal with cost of food commodities, and this not only come as a source of worry to the people, but also to government at the national and subnational levels. While many blame the sudden hike on inflation rate in the country, there were also allusions to activities of hoarders and smugglers. Government, as part of social contract, swung into action. The actions and how some of them are playing out is the focus on this edition of Dateline 360. Stay with us. Now, the bulk often stops at the desk of the chief executive when issues like this occur, and President Bola Tinubu and his cabinet members are providing leadership in this wise. The Presidential Committee on Food Intervention had an emergency meeting where it directed the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security to immediately release about 42,000 metric tons of grains from the National Reserve to cushion the effect of a current food shortage in the country. State House correspondent Musbao Danwahab reports that the meeting resolved on various measures categorized into short, medium and long term to guarantee food security in the country. Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, briefed the media after the meeting where he said that government equally demanded the release of products by Rice Millers Association from their storage.
The Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security has been directed to release about 42,000 metric tons of maize, millet and other commodities, gari and other commodities as in their strategic reserve, so that these items will be made available to Nigerians, 42,000 metric tons immediately. The second one is that we have held meetings with the Rice Millers Association of Nigeria, those who are responsible for producing this rice, and we have asked them to open up their stores. They've told us that they can guarantee about 60,000 metric tons of rice. This will be made available, and we know that that is enough to take Nigeria, in the next, couple of weeks, 1 month, 6 weeks, perhaps up to 2 months, 60,000 metric tons. They've agreed that they will make that available to Nigerians to bring it out to the market so that, food will be made available. Now, the whole idea of this is to crash the cost of these food items. And these are measures that will happen immediately.
Going forward, the federal government plans to invest massively in agriculture, and it is equally taking a stern position against food hoarding.
Now, government, of course, is also looking at all those who are hoarding these commodities, because actually these commodities are available in the stores of many traders. Government is appealing to them that they should open up these stores, make these commodities available in the interest of our nation. There is no point when the whole country is looking for this food. You are locking up these products so that you make more money, and then Nigerians suffer. Government is also looking at the possibility of, if it becomes absolutely necessary, as an interim measure, on the short run, to also import some of these commodities immediately, so that these commodities can be made available to Nigerians immediately within the next couple of weeks.
The directive of the federal government was promptly responded to, and Musa Baba Aliu now brings us details on efforts to ramp up food supply and plans for distribution.
The government has stored 51,000 metric tons of assorted food in silos across the country. Out of the number, the president directed that 42,000 metric tons be released to cushion the effects of inflation, with the poor and the needy as major targets. Apart from cassava flakes, also known as gari, which is already bagged, grains are being packaged in sacks for easy distribution. And here, officials of the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security are carrying out the exercise.
You can see the number of bags that are well stacked, 9 trucks on ground already. As at this hour, today being 23rd of February 2024.
Rice is also on the food items to be distributed, and special advisor to the president on information and strategy, Bayo Onanuga, says 60,000 metric tons will be purchased by the federal government from mega rice millers. And the Minister of Agriculture and Food Security says government intervention is already having positive impacts, with the price of produce gradually dropping across the country. In the area of crop production, he says government is strengthening food production by boosting dry season farming under the National Agricultural Growth Scheme, Agro-Pockets. The first phase focuses on the cultivation of wheat across 15 wheat-producing states, covering 118,657 hectares and involving 107,429 farmers. Phase 2 of the dry season farming will commence soon across the 36 states of the Federation and the FCT. It will cover rice, maize and cassava.
The farmer to pay half a bag of fertilizer and he gets 3 bags. That is to say, NAGS is paying 1.5 bags, and also the farmer pays half bag, and the Federal Ministry of Agriculture through the intervention is paying 1 bag. And all these items that I'm talking about also includes the agrochemicals, and seeds is free. All seeds, be it wheat, maize, or rice, or cassava, are all free.
Additionally, solar-powered water pumps for irrigation provided by the federal government are being deployed to aid the upcoming phase of the program.
We are going to start making deliveries, and as they go, and we are targeting local governments anyway. So we take it to the states and then on to the local government. So it will be on the template of NEMA. NEMA is the one doing the distribution, and the Office of the National Security Advisor.
From the seat of the Caliphate, the Sokoto State government, in a drive to complement federal government's efforts in ensuring food security in Nigeria, is working in synergy with relevant authorities in the state to tackle hoarding and export of food commodities to bring down prices. Aliyu Mohammed Kawaye reports that the government is also adopting a sustainable system of agricultural production that will guarantee availability of food in the state.
This is Dankure Market in Sokoto, the Sokoto State capital, and Malam Muhammad is a customer and is here to buy guinea corn for his family because he cannot afford even the local rice. The traders are raising similar concern and are hopeful that measures taken would yield positive results.
Da kwanakin baya akwai farashi mai yawa gaskiya, muna sai da kwanon shinkafa 3,500, amma yanzu gaskiya farashin ya dan sauka, muna sai da shinkafa 3,300. Akwai wadda kuma ana sai ta 3,250.
So far, Sokoto State government has organized a sensitization workshop for traders on trade-related transactions from the Islamic perspectives to prevent them from shortchanging unsuspecting customers.
It is allowed in Islam to buy a food and hoard it if the market is normal. If the market is normal and the situation will not be affected with your buying and with your hoarding, then you can buy. But when the situation is bad, the people are suffering, so it is not allowed in Islam to buy food for hoarding.
A stakeholders dialogue was also convened to discuss and profile solutions to hoarding, exportation, and hike in prices of essential commodities in Sokoto State.
As a government, we will not hold our arms and watch some unpatriotic citizen causing untold hardship to our people in our country.
Another measure taken was the establishment of a task force with the mandate to checkmate activities of food hoarders, smugglers, and prosecute defaulters. A cross-section of buyers and sellers at Opod Engari, Sokoto Central Market, say the price of local rice had slightly reduced following measures taken by the state government.
So I buy this one bag of rice now, 124,000.
Wancan satin da ya zo muna samu mun samu sauƙin 3,300 gabu. To yanzu kuma ya mai kilo 40. Amma yanzu gaskiya ya koma hawa, ya koma ƙara 2,000.
We have plans on the ground about agriculture. Because the executive governor have shared, if you can remember, almost a month ago, share free fertilizer for dry season farming. This is just done to boost food production, and what if done, maybe by in the next 2-3 months, we begin to reap the benefit of that policy.
Sokoto State shares more than 360 kilometers land borders with Niger Republic that makes it prone to activities of smugglers. The moves so far by the state government have at least helped in stabilizing the prices of foreign rice, gari and beans among others, as food smugglers to neighboring countries no longer have the leverage to perpetrate their acts, which led to the increase in supply of the commodities. From Kasor Dankuri in Sokoto Metropolis, Ali Muhammad Kawai reporting for NTA Dateline 360.
Let's now look at how some of these engagements impacted food prices in some other states.
Food items that include rice, maize, sorghum and millet, among others, have witnessed significant increase in price recently in the country. But the customers and suppliers are beginning to have a sigh of relief as the prices of such commodities have begun to fall in the open market. A visit to Birnin-Kebbi Central Market, grain sellers confirmed that the prices of grains are reducing at the local markets. A bag of local rice was sold about 50,000 naira, is now sold at 42,000 naira. A bag of sorghum and millet was sold at 60,000 naira, it is now 54,000 naira. Similarly, maize that was sold, but the consumers and suppliers attributed the decrease in price of the commodities to the recent federal government policy to stop exportation of food items out of the country. In Birnin-Kebbi, Usman Abdullahi Shehu.
This is Dawa, now the largest grain market in Africa. Every day is a market day here, with people trooping in to purchase grains both from within and outside the country. Maimuna Ali travels hundreds of kilometers from Onitsha in Anambra State to purchase grains.
I buy it here down to Onitsha. I want to sell it in Onitsha.
It come down very small, very small. So we are begging them, let it still come down.
Just like Maimuna, Baba Muhammad Dambata, who has been in the market for more than 3 decades, said prices have slightly dropped, but transaction is less due to low patronage. Market forces are what leads to the decline, which the management pledged to continue to apply through its members who go out to buy from the farmers.
Reducing the number of people that are going and bringing this will definitely make the demand to be low. And if the demand in the bush is very low, definitely the price over there will come down.
A bag of maize, which sold at 58,000 naira, now sells at 48,000 to 50,000 naira, while cowpeas, which was 94,000 naira, is now 84,000 naira. NTA News observed that the prices of bag of each of the major grains witnessed a decline of 8,000 to 10,000 naira. In Kano, Yahanasa Hassan Barrow.
In Lagos, it is about tackling poverty once hunger is addressed, as the federal government recently sold rice at discount. This initiative, Michael Olalaye reports, is assisting beneficiaries to expand their food safety net as a short-term solution in government's plan to totally ensure food security.
Man's survival depends heavily on food, because it is the oil lubricating the engine of life. And in a situation where putting a piece on the table is constrained by price, the options are limited. Just one option of choosing between paying more or facing hunger was on the card for Alexander Olakunle, a commercial bus driver, while trying to purchase a bag of rice recently.
Last week, me and my wife went to the market to buy a bag of rice. We bought it for 72,000. If I am given that opportunity, to buy a bag of rice for 20,000, I'm very, very glad to save about 60,000, and that 60,000 will at least be for another thing.
Identifying with the needs of the people within the imaginary context of Alexander Olakunle informed the decision of the federal government to ameliorate the situation. Under the initiative, the Nigeria Customs Service offered hundreds of thousands of 25 kilograms of rice for sale at a discount.
We do not grow food. We are only doing this as part of our own corporate social responsibility, if you like, or a kind of a social mission or obligation to the society where we serve.
The impact was huge, with many still finding it hard to believe it is actually real.
It's free. They do not even check the NIN, no check your, ask you to pay any amount. You can see people coming from behind.
We thank government for what you offer for us now. We appreciate a lot.
We should try to improve in this project, and once they can be doing this thing, so this thing can go far.
Most of the items sold were intercepted while being transported out of the country, a move the customs said will invariably check outflow of food in the face of scarcity while putting pressure on smuggling. Experts lauded the move, expressing optimism that it will lead to crash in the prices of food items.
Price is being determined by forces of demand and supply. So government selling will increase the supply in the market, and people buy from government will reduce aggregate demand.
While the federal government has offered immediate solution to a pressing problem, stakeholders say solving the mismatch between population growth and food availability is imperative for the future.
The things that can be done in short term will include issues around bringing more land under cultivation. In July last year, the president has spoken about 500,000 additional hectares of land. Here is the beauty of some of the food items that could help solve our problem. They are short cycle. We must begin to think about how we're going to deal with security matters. Even in the medium term, we must do that. Security matters are very critical.
For farmers, the long-term answers to food security revolve around upgrading local capacity.
If we have, farm chemicals that are produced in Nigeria, it will be more affordable for farmers to buy, as well as seeds. It will also be affordable, and then we can produce food that is not too expensive for the common man to buy. Even farm laborers, because of the general inflation, it has affected the amount that we pay laborers on the farm.
While government is exploring various options to improving accessibility and affordability of food items, members of the public say there is need to check indiscriminate price increase among sellers. In Lagos, Michael Olaleye.
And from Maiduguri, Borno State, Tinato reports that in addition to massive delivery of food and cash palliatives, the citizenry are being supported to recover their once productive lifestyle post-insurgency through farming and allied engagement that improve their purchasing power.
Like in other parts of Nigeria, hike in prices of food and other essential commodities has been real in Borno State, where the situation is compounded by a prolonged period of insurgency that has kept many farmers away from the farms. Beyond this, however, the interventionary response of both the federal and state government as well as development partners has been massive, broad-based and consistent. With a near-zero purchasing power in most communities, the government takes to their doorsteps large consignment of supplies to support their livelihoods. This entails crisscrossing the hinterlands, including hard-to-reach terrains, to give the people food, hope, and sense of belonging.
The state has been witnessing insurgency since 2009 to date. Wherever there is insurgency, we may experience food crisis because people may not have the opportunity to cultivate their agricultural lands.
In all this, the governor is always quick to applaud the inestimable support of the federal government, especially in the area of food supplies to the people of the state. Although initial emphasis was on faraway and most pressed communities, the recent hike in prices of food items has necessitated inclusion of food palliative to Maiduguri Metropolitan Council and Jere local government area to alleviate the hardship of the people.
But my intention is not to stop at 50,000, 100,000. We believe before the Ramadan season, we shall reach up to 200,000 population in Borno State.
Representatives of the people in the National Assembly have also joined the intervention drive as they roll out various support initiatives to support their people stand on their feet. Governor Zulum is, however, emphatic on the unsustainability of these handout interventions. The people, he said, must rise and assert their destinies, as was the case in the pre-insurgency era. Agriculture, he observed, is the way to go, especially with the huge agricultural endowments in Borno State.
With the recent election and inauguration of local government councils across the 27 local government areas of Borno State and the tall order on them to dedicate their leadership to reshaping the destinies of their people, observers believe better times await the people of the state. In Maiduguri, Tina Toro reporting for Dateline 360.
In Uyo, the Akwa Ibom state capital, Evelyn Bado Ekpo reports that as a measure to further ensure food security, social commentators and economic analysts advocate more enabling policies in that direction.
Statistics by the MBS indicates about 35 inflationary increase in food items as of January 2024.
The seller finds out that there are no buyers. Certainly that seller would rethink, because you are buying because you're able to sell. You would say, oh, if I buy it at this price, nobody will buy from me, so I will not buy it. And in that same chain, in that same ladder, the steps going downwards, the prices would come down. The thing is hinged on the function of demand and supply.
Commodities mostly affected are grains, yam tubers, oil and beverages, among other items. Amidst this rising cost of food prices, the federal government unveiled some proactive measures of intervention to cushion its impact, declaring a state of emergency on food security. Similarly, state governments, including that of Akwa Ibom, are taking a cue by recently distributing garri, a widely eaten staple, from the state-owned cassava farms and sold at subsidized rates, a gesture they say will remain that way alongside other interventions, which include provision of farm inputs identified through cluster group farmers to encourage widespread farming.
So much that is gotten from the greenhouse, when it is brought out to be sold, those items are sold at very moderate prices, affordable prices. So that's an intervention.
Interacting with some traders on this development, this class of Nigerians identified transportation of food commodities as rice, onions and beans from the northern part of the country, largely affected by the loss of demand and supply, as well as the place of marketing unions having a stronghold of prices of commodities.
I need government to cancel all the union in this state and the federal government to cancel, like garri. Without union, nobody can go to garri market and come back and sell.
You plant this water leaf like this, you carry it to remarket, union no allowed you to sell. So you use the suffer. Now rainfall, all the water leaf, you no see customer because of union. You no carry and go market. So money no dey. As at now, carry is 3 cup 500.
Although the impact of the government's intervention of prices of food commodities in Akwa Ibom State is yet to be felt in the open markets, the people are advocating viable monetary policies that will lay a foundation for a long-term economic development plan. For Dateline 360, Evelyn Badu Ekpo.
As government sues for patience on the side of all, it is critical to note that hoarding food commodities or holding them for profit at this period is at the expense of humanity. Think about it. I'm Omotola Mojola, and on behalf of the production crew, I thank you for the pleasure of your company. May God bless Nigeria.